Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. Sheffield United against West Ham United back into league action after a little spell in the FA Cup. Gonzo, may I get your opinion on Sheffield United, please?
Well, they've been this year's success story, this season's success story, should I say. When it comes about at the end of the season, they will be talking about who is the manager of the year. Some people will say Klopp, and there'll be lots of other successful managers with big clubs who get touted to win the award. Chris Wilder won't be far. He will not be far away when the final reckoning comes. He'll get lots and lots of votes. What he's done for Sheffield United, which is hometown club, is nothing short of miraculous, Geo. How he's brought them up through the leagues, through divisions, and then to come into the Premier League and he's brought a lot of players with him, by the way, and to not only come to the Premier League and starve off relegation, not only to not be involved in the bottom, but actually for a lot of weeks look like one of the better teams, is a miracle. I mean, it really is. It's a fantastic achievement.
The best thing about it, I thought you were going to say this actually, is the fact that they were doing it on their own terms as well. He's not compromising on the way he wants to play. He's not compromising on his ethos or sort of the culture of Sheffield United. Actually, at West Ham often we complain about lack of identity. Sheffield United very much have that, and they're unwilling to budge from it, and it's working. They've got a formation that's difficult to play against. They're setting out against teams very well. I've been thoroughly impressed with them, actually. I think it would take a lot for Chris Wilder not to be my manager of the year come the end of the season. It's just unfortunate for him that Klopp's going to win the title with Liverpool for the first time in the Premier League history and possibly go unbeaten all season, really. So that's just going to overshadow it a little bit. But he's done a brilliant job, and I think majority of people that are into the football in the Premier League will certainly nod to Sheffield United and say he's done a remarkable thing there. I think a lot of the team as well. I think a lot of the players, we'll talk about individual players in a second, but you look at that and think, would I have any of them at West Ham? You can count them on one hand, and I don't mean this is to disrespect Sheffield United fans or anything, but they are punching above their weight, and that is only credit to the players, the manager and the club as a whole. Because if you're doing that, then what can you do when you get in one or two players that is better ability? You're only going to go higher and higher in the league. It's much better to be in that position than it is to be in West Ham's position, which is when you've got better players but they're just not performing very well. That's more worrying. Sheffield United have got the character. I like that about them. They've got a little bit of something that is very, very difficult to play against. Will they survive? The 29 points, so you said you don't think 40 would be enough this year, so you imagine they're going to need another 12, 13 points or something to be in the Premier League next season.
Yeah, they'll survive comfortably. You've got to also remember this is a team that has money. So I think they brought in McBurney, I think, for close to 20 million from Swansea. What's his name? Musat. I think they must have paid 10 million from Bournemouth. They paid £7 million for the winger, and so I think they spent 40 to 50 million. They've got very rich owners as well, so if they needed to go out and spend money, then they certainly could do. But it's all about the ethos, Gio. It's all about the team play. It's all about they're bigger than the sum of their parts. You said you could count on one hand the amount of players in the Sheffield United squad to get into the West Ham team. I think you could count them on no fingers, the amount of players that would get onto the West Ham team. Let's put it that way. They are highly organised and tactically astute, Gio. The way he's got, I don't even know which one it is, but you often see one of the centre backs running out and then making up the numbers. It's very, very clever, and the way they get wide and then play the 1-2s around the full-backs, they've got some really, really good tactics there, and clearly they're really well schooled and really well drilled in those tactics. They won't nowhere near going down, mate. They will have a comfortable mid-table finish, and if I had to put a fiver on it, would be in the top 10 rather than the bottom 10,
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they'll be fine. The thing you say about money, though, I don't think they splash it around, though. They don't fritter it away like not so much Villa have. I think they make good signings, but they didn't spend anywhere near as much as Villa. And to sum it up, this week they've announced their first signing of the January transfer window. It was Jack Rodwell, so they're trying to do it within a reasonable budget as well. There's nothing but admiration for Sheffield United the way they've gone about it, but will next season be harder? Because now people know what they do, they know what they're about, they know what Chris Wilder's about, they know the formation, they know the players, and we often talk about second season syndrome, and it's could be a myth. That's what I'm asking you a little bit, and you apply that to teams that come up, stay up, and then they struggle the second season. And you apply it to strikers that come over, banging a load of goals, and second season they tail off a bit. Is the second season actually more difficult?
I would say no, because they're minted. I don't think people realise quite how minted they are, how rich their owners are. So they've not done it. But the one problem they've got is so much of their success has been built on his system. And a lot of the players that come up, I mean, all those players that I just mentioned, I mean, for all it's actually, if you want to talk about players, you look at Lundstrom, he's not one of the players that's come in. He was already there, I think so anyway. So when what's his name? When Unai Emery was in trouble at Arsenal, people were mentioning Chris Wilder for the job at Arsenal. He would have been no good for it, because he is not going to get players like David Luiz and people like that playing in the way that his current team are playing. In many respects, a lot of the team he's got playing for him are grateful to be there, surprised to be there. In his own words, Chris Wilder's own words, some of my players have got no right to be playing in the Premier League. All right, he speaks very forthrightly, very curt when he does it. And I think he's probably right. I think he knows it. I think the players know it. I think the players are grateful for it. And so he will get 100% out of them in every game. Would he be able to translate that, as I say, to a David Luiz type player? I'm not quite so sure. So if he is going to survive in their second season, and I think they will because they're minted, he's going to have to be very, very clear with his purchases. So I think, don't expect to see a player like the one I just mentioned coming in. Expect to see more gritty, determined, maybe even the best of British players signed when they sign more for next season. I think if he does that, then he will be able to still impart his philosophy upon them, and they'll carry on just doing just as well as they are.
I think they'll be all right as well, because he knows the way he wants to play. I think it's very important. I know Sheffield United fans are listening to this are going to be thinking, stop talking about West Ham. It's a West Ham channel, but all you have to do is look at the difference of transfer strategies. We've got a scattergun approach, and we've got it again this month already. We're going after centre midfielders. They're all different. We've been linked with about 4 centre midfielders, and they're all different. Do we actually know what centre midfielder we want? The difference is Sheffield United know what kind of midfielder they want, what kind of striker they want, what kind of centre-back do they want. And I think that's why they'll be a success, whether they've got money or not. It's identifying the right player for that position, and that's something that they've been doing, and what impresses me. Last question on Sheffield United. As always, players you admire.
Well, I said Lundstrom. I think he's the one. I'm not going to pretend to have an encyclopedic knowledge of their players. I think John Fleck, your compatriot, I think he's a good player. I think he's played well for him. It was quite interesting because I think it's McGoldrick that plays rather than, even though McBurney they signed for 20 million. I don't think he's often come on as a sub, hasn't he? I still remember early in the season he came on as a sub. But I think it's McGoldrick who seems to play well. I did quite like from what I saw from Norwood as well. Oliver Norwood looks to be a good player, but I don't know loads of their players, Joe, the truth,
Yeah, Norwood's the one that's impressed me the most this season, just sitting in front of them at 4. Or back 5 really. Their centre backs, Basham, O'Connell, they're the ones that come running out the back. Stevens is the left wing back. The one player that impresses me the most, and you said you can count on no fingers, I disagree with that in a year and a half's time, because I think the one player they've got I love at West Ham, just not yet, and that's Dean Henderson. I know he's a Man United player, I know he's only on loan at Sheffield United, but I think he should be going to the Euros for your mob. I think he's been superb for Sheffield United this season in goal. Every time I watch him, he makes match-defining saves as well. He's like, I don't want to say as good as Fabianski, but I don't think he's that far off it, Gonzo. I really don't. I think he's just absolutely brilliant. And if someone that needs a goalkeeper in the next year or two has got an opportunity while Man U are still playing De Gea to go in and get someone that I think form-wise is performing a lot better than De Gea. I'm not saying he's a better goalkeeper, but in terms of form, and he's young, and that's the important thing. So yeah, the only one player I'm not keen on in Sheffield United starting 11 is McGoldrick. When I watch him, I just think he works hard, he's hard to mark, but I just don't think he's good enough. I think if they're ever in trouble, it's because they don't score enough goals. I don't think McBurney is good enough to be a striker. Robinson, I was excited when they signed Robinson because I thought he was fantastic for Preston, scoring loads of goals in Championship. He's come up, he's just not really done it. Music's been doing it, but can he continue it all season? I don't know, but I think that's what they needed in the summer, really. I think they need to go get a really, really good number 9, a proper striker, and they'll be fine. We're away to talk about West Ham, but before we do, Hammers Chat launched a Patreon service during the week. Just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has joined up. The link is in the description below, and it's gone wonderful, but we'll update you more in the next version of Cup of Tea. Just want to inform you about it in case you don't know about it, because we're out of YouTube jail. So this is our first live stream for a few days. We're out of YouTube jail. Anyway, team news. David Moyes has not done his press conference yet, so I'm sort of guessing a little bit, but Cresswell and Noble should be okay, given that David Moyes in his press conference prior to the Gillingham game said they were doubtful for that one, so they should be fine for this one. Mikel Antonio is the one with the great big question mark. We're not really sure. It's unlikely he will be fit for this one, I think. So, Gonzo, first question. This is what Gonzo and I would like to see, not what we predict, because what we predict is possibly different. Would you prefer to see the Bournemouth formation, 4-2-3-1, or would you prefer to see the Gillingham one, which is probably the more likely one, which was the 3-5-2?
For this game, I'd like to see the Bournemouth one. Long term, obviously, I expect us to move to the 3 and would certainly support that. But I think, bearing in mind the Gillingham game, we'd have a day's travel, a day's rest after the Gillingham game. I still think there were gaps in the formation, and I'm not sure 2-3 days on a training ground is going to be enough to get at as
just to counter argue here, we'd be matching Sheffield United man per man if we go 3-5-2. That not bother you at all?
I think they're flexible. You say man for man, but they seem to move out of position quite a lot, Sheffield United. So I'm not sure that, strictly speaking, there will be 1 against 1, and you're staying with that same marker all game. I don't think that's going to be the case. I just think we're more comfortable in it. I think what Pellegrini didn't have was almost the lack of solidity, a lack of a defined set defending position, and a lack of instruction. That being said, the players were familiar with the shape because they've been playing it quite a while. So I think if you keep the shape and you have the instruction, the starting positions, and everyone knows what they're doing, then I just think for this game, it might be a difficult game, that would be my choice.
I would stick with the 3 at the back for this, purely because we played it against Gillingham. That was almost like a training match for the 3 at the back. I just think, rather than chopping and changing all the time, I appreciate what you're saying about the long term, but the games are still coming thick and fast. We've got Liverpool midweek, we've got Leicester midweek, I think, and we've got the FA Cup game now. There's not really a period where actually you can say, right, okay, let's sit down for 2 weeks and concentrate at the back. Then we've had a trial. Moyes now can see who can operate in the 3 at the back and who's struggling with it and who to work on closely for the next couple of days, and get them ready to go for 3 at the back. Plus, I suppose you could argue either way. We've got an issue at right back or right wing back. We have an issue, but we'll come on to that. Can I get your 11 then? Because mine and yours is definitely going to be different because you've got a different formation.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've not really given it so much thought. I certainly haven't written it down, which is what I usually do. But the one position I did think about when I was thinking about it earlier was right back, and I thought, well, actually, if we've got to have Zabaleta, and I think we've got to have Zabaleta, I would rather him at right back than right wing back in that sense. So we think Cresswell's out. We're comfortable that Cresswell's out, yeah?
I think he'll be okay.
Okay, right. So in which case, goalkeeper, obviously Fabianski. We'll go with Zabaleta, Balbuena, Ogbonna, and we'll go with Cresswell for this one. Then in which case, that changes things a little bit. To be fair. In the middle, I would play Declan Rice and Mark Noble. Noble was obviously so good against Bournemouth. He's had a rest against Gillingham. Yeah. I think you'll get a good performance out of Noble in this one. Wide positions, I would go with. This is a tough one, actually. This is a tough one. So we think Antonio's not making it.
I don't think so.
Okay. I might sit in a little bit tight for this one, actually. I would almost be inclined to play Fornals on the left, Anderson in the middle. I might be tempted to stick Lanzini on the right, actually, with Sebastian Haller up front and Anderson getting close to it.
Yeah, I've gone for 3 at the back. Diop, Balbuena, Ogbonna. Diop's my concern there, but he's still a centre back. I mean, it's only moving a little bit to the right hand side, I guess. Cresswell left wing back, or left back. I'd rather see Aaron Cresswell start for this one ahead of Masuaku. The right wing back, I'm going to come back to that. My midfield three, I've got Noble, Rice and Pablo Fornals. I think Fornals was brilliant against... I know it was only Gillingham, but we just, in terms of controlling the game and stepping up to a Premier League level, I thought we did that when he came onto the pitch. It really looked a lot better, and he was pivotal to that. Man in form. I would build my team around him, I really would. He's first name on team sheet, and my question would be, going forward, how do we get the best out of this guy? How do we allow this guy to release Felipe Anderson? How do we get this guy to give the ball to Sebastian Aller? That's the question, because if you come up with the answers, you'll score goals. So he'd be my first name in there. And up front, two up front, Sebastian Aller and Felipe Anderson. It's working. I like it. Keep it, please. Keep it. The right wing back situation. Oh, if he's fit. I don't think he is. If he's fit, I'd put Antonio there. I do. I think I'd be saying to him, look, it's for a couple of games only. As soon as we've got Fredericks back or we've got a right back in, you're going back into your attacking position. But to also say to him, sorry mate, but if you're fit and I'm playing with this 3-5-2 formation, where do you think you're going to go? Because you can't go up front, because Anderson and Aller were fantastic against Bournemouth. You ain't going there, and you can't play centre mid. There's no position for you in this formation. So you're going to have to go on the bench, or you can start a right wing back, come in at the back post from crosses. Under Slav, I know he hated it at right wing back. He scored goals from right wing back because he would arrive in the box late, and it was perfect. So I would put him there. If not, it's Zabaleta by default, and that worries me a little bit because whenever I watch Sheffield United, while Baldock is quite good coming down the right, I do think they come down the left a lot more than they do come down the right with Stevens and O'Connell. I do fear their left side more than their right side, which is a bit of a worry. But they're not necessarily fast. I don't think Sheffield United are lightning quick at that. As long as Zabaleta has switched on, because I don't think he was against Bournemouth. Too often he went... who was it? Was it Bournemouth he started? He kept gallivanting off up the pitch anyway and leaving masses of space behind him. Yeah, Fredericks was suspended.
Of course.
Or it was Leicester. One of them anyway, he played because Federer was suspended. He kept going up the pitch. No, it was Palace. Okay, the third time lucky. It was definitely Palace.
We know more about Sheffield United than West Ham.
Because we were playing Zaha, weren't we? We all thought, oh no, not Zabaleta against Zaha. And we came on here saying Zaha took the piss out of him a little bit and stuff. So that's that one. Anyway, big question. Is this a big game? We can finish this fixture, this round of fixtures at the weekend. Once all the games are done, we can be as high as 11th or as low as 18th. Just to show you how bonkers this league is right now.
It's a big game in every sense of the word. We've got a rivalry against Sheffield United now. There's no way of looking past that. This is a club that felt and that we were the reason behind their relegation, despite David Unsworth scoring for Wigan and whatnot. But this is, this is the team who support us. We're campaigning on the streets. Marching, Sean Bean leading the march, the Game of Thrones march through the streets of London. It's a campaign for us to be kicked out of the league. They absolutely can't stand us. Okay, and then they carried on until their chairman Kevin McCabe eventually got a judge that would hear it and rule in his favour. We ended up paying him 25 million. Probably the only thing worse than West Ham to a Sheffield United fan is the fact that Kevin McCabe took that money and didn't do anything with it. So we're better, they're better, and then yes, added to the fact that there are points at stake, massive points in the league. I mean, it's a dagger to the heart of all West Ham fans that Sheffield United are better than us. So yeah, I mean, it's a massive game. I mean, it'd be a massive game anyway. The fact that it's away from home at their place, they're going to be really loud. They've got a really loud, raucous crowd, old style stadium. Loud fans, mate, it's a massive game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's also momentum as well. Sheffield United have had some tricky fixtures recently. They've had some tough games like Liverpool and stuff, so they're sort of not coming down the league a little bit, but they need a bit of a pick-me-up. They'll be looking at this one thinking we can win this. Moyes will be looking at this one thinking I can grind something out there, I can go there and I can show my side that Pellegrini doesn't have in him. I know how to win dirty. I know how to time waste and go defensive if I have to and get something from Bramall Lane. I think it's a big game, this one. It's huge. It has a massive knock-on effect for next week. If we get a point or win on Friday, our Everton preview, we'll be buzzing. We'll be saying, yeah, we're going to beat Everton, no problem. We'll lose on Friday. We'll be in the preview. We'll be a bit more nervous, thinking, Christ, we need to win again to get out of this relegation thing. It's just every game is massive until some gaps start to appear in the league. I'm not even sure gaps will start to appear in the league. Relegation is going to the wire this season. Match day 38, there will be at least two teams playing for survival in the Premier League. It's going to the absolute last minute. All that in mind, are you confident?
I am sort of confident we won't lose, yeah, because I think David Moyes, as you like, one of your phrases, has got a pass for this one, I think, in many respects. And let me just explain that. When I say he's got a pass, under a lot of managers and under a lot of circumstances, it wouldn't be acceptable to go up to Sheffield United and park the bus. It really wouldn't. You have to go up there and win. But taking everything into context, I do actually think that, actually, as far as the West Ham fans are concerned, it is actually acceptable to go up there, park the bus, and get a draw. I think we would actually take that. So, in which case, when everybody's thinking that, you get an understanding away support who are willing to take that, because we understand, because we know about football. We understand that Sheffield United are good. We understand we've got a new manager. We understand that we've been struggling. We understand that there's new formations being tested out, and because of that, David Moyes is not going to be burdened with what he's had coming into West Ham. When he came into West Ham, he's had to basically justify himself. He's pretty much said in his press conference, I want us to play attacking football. He knows why he wasn't taken on last time, and he wants to project an image that he is going to play more expansive football. He doesn't have to pretend for this game. He can park the bus, it can go dirty, it can go gritty, it can call it 3 at the back, but actually play 5 at the back and maybe 6 because Declan Rice is sitting in front, and he can do it well. And I actually think, because he's unburdened by the expectation of having to go and win and having to go and attack, because he thinks, actually, I can go there and have 3 shots, and if we get one of them, great. I think we might get a draw from this, Gio.
I'm not confident. Not confident we will win. I'm confident we're going to turn up with a game plan and we're going to give them a game. The problem is, I think we're almost going to cancel each other out a little bit. I think we'll play the same formation. I know tactics isn't involved, but in terms of formation, I think we'll both set up 3-5-2 on paper. When the Sky things put their formations up at the start, the formations will be the same. I think both teams will be sitting back a little bit, going, well, you come here so we can counter-attack. But I think we're both going to be doing it. So when we both do that, the ball doesn't really move the middle of the pitch, really. I think both managers will be thinking we need to make set pieces count in this one. We're not going to get much opportunities. I think this one smells like a great big boring draw. I don't think there's going to be much goals. And I think if you were to offer both managers right now, I think Moyes would bite your hand off. And I think while he would say, nah, I don't want that. You know, his interview after the Liverpool game, I thought was fantastic. I sent it to Gonzo, I said, you have to watch this. Really, really good. While he would say he's disappointed, I think he knows a point is enough. Because he's now got half a season to get 11 points. They're already on 20... What did I say? They're on 29 points. They're already 3 quarters to survival. A point here and a point... Sheffield United need to win games at the start of the season. They don't need to win them anymore. They just need to avoid defeat in them. And that will keep them up. We are a little bit in between. We need to avoid defeat away from home and win the home ones, and then we'll be fine. And I think that's what we're going to see on Friday. I think we're going to see 2 teams happy with a point. Well, I'll go first because I've kind of given my prediction away a little bit. I'm going to go for 1-1. I went for 1-1 I don't know, whatever game it was, and I got it right, so I'm going to go for 1-1. Gonzo, may I get your prediction, please?
Yeah, not vastly different. I'm just going to go for 0-0. A beautiful, fun 0-0.
Hard-earned point. Anyway, you can join us on Friday night at 7 PM live on this channel, because we're out of YouTube jail. You can join us. We'll be doing our build-up show. We'll be taking a look at the West Ham 11. We'll be taking a look at the Sheffield United 11. And we'll be giving you our final thoughts and our final score predictions as well. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this preview, please drop a like on it. It helps us out. Subscribe if you're new around here. And until next time, look after yourself, and we'll see you in a little bit.